Hey guys and gals, I'm Chris or ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing and getting our first impressions of the Urban Decay Wild Greens eyeshadow palette and the Wild Lash mascara. I just picked these up from Ulta and I'm super excited to jump into it, so if you'd like to see what the palette looks like, how they swatch, how they perform, and to know my initial first impressions, then stay exactly where you are because we're getting into it right now. This $44 palette features 12 wildly pigmented greens and earthy neutrals made with a blendable vegan makeup formula. Features a versatile mix of nature-inspired greens and earthy neutrals in shimmers, mattes, and metallics. Means you can really run wild with your eye makeup looks. High-impact pigments promise maximum color payoff, and the creamy, ultra-blendable vegan formula with a hit of avocado oil applies like a dream. The Wild Lash Mascara is $26. Treat your lashes to Urban Decay's Wild Lash plant-powered volumizing mascara, a vegan 99% naturally derived formula packed with lash-loving ingredients that deliver volume and incredible lift. Now let's go ahead and zoom in and get started on swatches. The first shade is the shade Chill. Lo-Fi. Kickback, Fuzz, Turmeric, High Vibe, Earthside, Super Greens, Prickly, Twist, Kale, and last, Stash. And there's all 12 shades from the Wild Greens palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And for all you close-up seekers out there, here you go. I have gone ahead and primed using my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair, the tried and true. Use code ChristopherJMUA to save 30% on any Gerard Cosmetics purchases. And after swatching this palette, I actually really like that it's kind of split into sort of two color stories. You've got more of your like earthy, neutrally warm tones up here, and then down here you've got all of the green. I'm calling them mushroomy shades because they give me like swamp vibes, but that's kind of what I get from the bottom. So I think for today's look, I'm gonna use just a little combination of both sections. That way I don't end up doing what I normally end up doing and ending up with some monochromatic look at the end of it. Don't get me wrong, I love it when I celebrate monochromania, but I want to test out the range in this palette. Speaking of range, this is another Urban Decay eyeshadow palette that isn't gonna get really a whole lot deeper than medium. That is about as dark as you're gonna be able to get with this palette, which is really unfortunate because if you've got deeper than medium skin, you still want depth, and what if you wanted to try the Urban Decay Wild Greens palette? Well, now you can't, unless you just want to shimmer all over the lid, which you could do that too, that's fine. Just when it comes to the matte shades, you're not gonna get a lot of depth. I'm gonna start out with using this Super Greens shade, the really light green. It reminds me of a limeade from Sonic. And this shade's gonna be the first part of my two-tone crease. That's a pretty soft pastel kind of shade. First application doesn't leave me wanting more. I feel like it actually applied pretty well. Pretty pigmented, but let's see if we can build it up. Oh my goodness, I just realized this is the first time I've done eyeshadow since I had COVID. Oh, I hope I'm not too out of practice. Now the next shade I'm gonna use is the shade Kale. This is gonna be sort of my all over color. It'll be the brunt of the look. So naturally, it's gonna go on the outer side of the crease. Pretty much gonna fill up this whole outer portion, shape the outer edge, give it that winged out look like I do. Again, really pigmented. I'm so used to those naked palettes and all of the shades being like builder shades, stuff that goes on really, really softly that you have to build up as you go. I'm not used to something punchy from Urban Decay. Even the blend from the dark green to the light green is super smooth. There's not a lapse in strength of pigment. They blended together just perfectly. Next, I'm gonna start deepening the crease. Again, I'm gonna do this with two different tones, so I'm gonna take Earthside first. This is the lightest sort of brown shade in the palette. It's kind of cool, maybe. And this is the shade I'm gonna use to start deepening the inner half of the crease. You know, I may end up with an open mouth insert foot moment here because Earthside does not look that deep in the palette. I mean, I guess it doesn't really look that deep there, but it looks a lot deeper here than it does right here to me. So maybe we will get a lot more depth than I thought. Now with that shade built up, I'm gonna go back in with the super green shade that I was using, more like just the brush with the same pigment on it, and I'm just gonna blend out the edges of the dark brown into the light green. That way it's just a little bit softer, so I don't have this kind of hard line here anymore, or at least not as sharp of a hard line. Yes, yes, just like that. See, it's just a little bit softer. It didn't do anything major to it, but it kind of changed it a little bit. And in the end, it's all those little things that you do that add up to make your gorgeous finished look. Now using the deepest matte shade in the palette called Kickback, Kickback, I'm gonna use this shade as the deepening shade for the outer half of the crease. They did a great job picking the deepest brown to go with this palette. This is the kind of brown that you can blend in with warm shades and really warm it up and make it look like a warm chocolatey kind of brown, or you can put it in with a green and really cool it down and give it this kind of evergreen forest vibe. That's so much fun to me. I love versatility. And the shade Fuzz here has been yelling at me since I opened this palette. It looks like it's part of the warm tone section and you think it's gonna be like a red, or I guess kind of an orangey red brown, but it's got this awesome green shift to it, and I thought it would be perfect for this kind of look because I don't want it to be monochromatic. That's pretty nice. No eyeshadow base, no glitter primer, no nothing like that, nothing tacky for it to stick to, and it's still giving me intensity. I love how when the light hits it, you can see that little reflective green right in the center. This shade also has zero problems picking up with the brush. And that's great for a metallic shade like this because it's very chunky when you pick it up. And a lot of the times those more chunky shades or the really flaky shades, they don't like to pick up with flat brushes. You usually just have to use a finger or a foam tip applicator or spray the brush so the pigment will actually stick to it. Luckily, I'm not having to pull out all the stops for this. It's just sticking and working like you would think it should. This shade is just so cool. Literally every time I move my head and I look at it in a different light, it changes in some way. But it's all a version of that orangey yellowy kind of color and green and brown. And for just a little bit of depth on the lid, I'm gonna take the shade Stash here. And since this one is the darkest green in the palette, it's gonna go right on this outer corner so it can sort of tie in the outer crease with the outer lid. Okay, dark green's all done. Now I have to give this a shot. I'm gonna use my pinky in that shade Fuzz, and I just gotta see how it looks if I use my finger. Oh, that's a lot better. Oh, wow. It's so much more metallic that way. I only thought I was experiencing the shade the first time. Now we need a little bit of brow bone highlight, and I was gonna use this shade Twist here, but that was gonna lead us even further into monochromania territory, so instead I'm using chill. That way I can bring back a little bit more of the warm side, or the brown side, the earth side, whatever you want to call it. And plus, this kind of looks like the reflect that that duochrome shade has in it, so it should work really well. Oh, that's white. Ooh, okay. That is yummy. That is so yummy. Is that the look? I mean, I think that's the look. Now we just gotta figure something out with the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, get my other eye done, copy and paste, hopefully. Finish off my face makeup, pretty much just get everything done so that we can finish off the lower lash line together and then try out this Wild Lash mascara. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Now that the face makeup is done, let's go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. Since I didn't use any of the vibrant warm tones previously and I stuck with all the browns and greens except for this like orangey. Do you see when I turn right there is just like bright coppery kind of red, but then when I turn again it disappears. That is just so awesome. I love that. Anyway, as I was saying, turmeric is the shade that I'm gonna go in with now. Oh, I meant to ask you guys too. I actually meant to ask you this earlier, but better late than never, I suppose. Do you guys like the shorter videos that I've been uploading, like keeping it under the 25 to 30 minute mark, going back to more like 10 and 15 minutes? Or would you guys rather I go back to what I used to do and just not filter out all the extra in between stuff? So do you guys miss the longer videos? Or does it really even matter to you? You're gonna watch it regardless. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it, because I'm curious what you prefer. You know what? I think I'm realizing this turmeric shade is actually the same color as the duochrome shift that this orangey shade has, the fuzz shade. It looks like it's the same color. This is a fun palette. And now, just for the sake of saying that I used more shades, I'm gonna use the shade Lo-Fi here, and that's gonna be what I blend out the turmeric with. Now here's the magic. Are you ready for the magic? So this looks okay to me. It looks pretty good. We got the orange blended out with the soft pink, but to me, that looks really disconnected because this and this don't connect. It's a weird edge. So I'm gonna take the brush I was using earlier in the shade Kickback, take a little bit more of Kickback, and just put it right here. And blend it into that orange. Orange, naranja. Ah, yes! Now even the mattes look like duochromes. Oh, that's so satisfying. So now let's test out the Wild Lash mascara. Give me just a second to curl my lashes off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck to not make a mess everywhere like I tend to always do. I think I can get down with this mascara. It's a little different than the Urban Decay mascaras I'm used to. I'm used to either Lash Freak giving me crazy, insane false lashes, or Perversion really thickening the lashes. This is completely different though. It's really lengthening. It's very clean. It's a clean lash. This applicator just gives you so much control. I mean, you flip it this way and you've got the ability to really pack on product and build it up quite a bit. But then you flip it this way and you're able to get those really long bristles in between all those lashes and really pull and separate and get that lengthening going. I really like this mascara. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Definitely not my favorite applicator for lower lashes, but a really good formula for lower lashes. With the mascara now applied, what do you guys think of the look? Go ahead, pause me, leave me your thoughts, leave me your opinions before I taint them with my own thoughts and opinions. So in reference to the Wild Greens eyeshadow palette, price-wise and value-wise, this falls right in line with their older naked palettes. Usually the newer ones are about $55, $54, but they typically have a mirror in them as well. Some of the older naked palettes that also have mirrors in them are about the same price as this one is. So it is definitely on par with all of the other palettes that Urban Decay launches. However, when I look at the components of all of the naked palettes, they're usually a little prestige feeling, albeit made out of plastic, but at least it's hard plastic and it feels just a little more luxe. This does not feel any kind of luxe at all, and for the price being $10 less than what they would normally price a new palette launch with the upgraded component, the price doesn't seem really fair to me. It's the same amount of shades, the packaging just doesn't have a lot invested in it. That being said, I do actually really like this packaging, how it opens in the middle like this. Plus, I don't know what it is, but this eyeball right here, this is thumbnail material, okay? Now for the inside of the palette and the actual shades, I was sort of expecting another naked palette, but with greens this time. That's sort of what I anticipated. I have been pleasantly surprised. Still, if you're any deeper than probably medium, you can't really get a bunch of depth out of this, but these shimmer shades and the way that they perform on the eye and look, that's where the value comes into play for me. That's when I feel like this palette is worth it. That's where I feel like I can happily recommend the palette, but I don't know that I can recommend it for the $44, only because I feel cheated with the bougie feeling palettes being $55 or $54. I feel like this one, either the packaging should have been upgraded just a little bit more, or it should have been more like $34 instead of $44. But really, this is just me being kind of nitpicky because I literally had no problems out of it. It performed beautifully, the mattes blended beautifully, they were actually a lot more pigmented than I thought they were going to be, and the earthy tones just work so well with the neutral shades and the green shades. I think they did a great job on the color story and the cohesion of the color story. And this Wild Lash mascara, how much was this? $26. Okay, so it's still pretty on par with most mascaras in the prestige range. The formula of this mascara is by far my favorite from Urban Decay at this point. The wand is actually really great for the upper lashes, but once you start getting into the lower lashes, it is so hard to maintain that control because the wand is so big. If it even just had a sharper, smaller tip, I think I can make it work a lot better, but it's that kind of wand that just makes me want to grab a lash brush, pick up the mascara on the lash brush, and then apply it that way instead. And with that being said, that's it for this review and this first impressions of the Urban Decay Wild Greens palette and the Wild Lash mascara. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, it'd mean so much to me if you wanted to give me a thumbs up just to let me know that you did. And along with that thumbs up, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to, or if you don't want to. In the last 4 weeks, just the last 4 weeks, 65.5% of my views have been from people not subscribed to my channel. I don't get that. If you're watching the video anyway, why not subscribe? Help a guy out, okay? But seriously, if you enjoy beauty-focused videos, if you like educational content, collaborations, challenges, first impressions, reviews, especially first impressions and reviews, because those are my favorite, then definitely subscribe and join the fam. Maybe YouTube will even notify you when I upload a video. Also, if you like this look, and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, then please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are a bad bitch, okay? Bye!